Okay, friends, so for anybody watching this later on YouTube, this is also live stream right now on my Twitch, which I do every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, so please feel free to join me. It's always free to watch, and you can go to my Patreon to see every past episode I've ever done. There's like over 150 of them on there from the last 4 years. But anyways, tonight I am excited to talk about what I think is the best retouching software, really the only one worth using. I've just to recap, I have tried all the goofy ones, Portrait Pro or whatever that is. Retouch for me seemed like it got a lot of buzz a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, and it was kind of better than all the crap, but not great. It's a plugin only, and they like sell you every plugin for $125. If you buy all of them, you're spending like $1,000. It's slow. You have to use each plugin individually. So you're like, okay, let me do the skin. Now let me do the dodge and burn. And it's like, open the plugin, pick your setting, wait for it to process. Oh, do I like that? Nope. Change the setting, wait for it to process. Do I like that? Yes, apply. Process, process, process. Okay, now let me do the eyes. And that's actually pretty annoying. So I have a handful of them. The one I do like is the eye vessels. Like, it's okay, but never really got into it. With all that said, a couple months ago, I was seeing Instagram ads for this software. And they kind of caught my attention, and then they actually reached out to me via DM and said, "Hey, we would love for you to try our software. We'll throw you some credits to give it a shot." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't rush to jump into it. I have very low expectations at this point with anything that comes up claiming to be great retouching software. So I finally gave it a try when I had a little free time on my hands last week, and I was like, oh my god, this is the one I've been waiting for. So anyways, this is what I'm going to show you tonight. Before I show you, I'm going to also really quickly show you, this is what I typically get from my retoucher. Now, by the way, I'm in Photoshop beta. If you're using beta, one thing that always annoys me is they always put this little generative fill window or whatever they call it. I just move it out of the way when I first open it up, and I hit pin bar position. So it'll keep popping up, but it'll stay up there out of my way. So this is the original file. This is what happens when I send it to a retoucher. So I wonder how many of you can relate to this. This is what all of the retouchers do, is basically they're probably using some frequency separation action. Maybe they're doing a little bit of manual fixing here or there, but it's just what I call like a skin nuke. Oops, what'd I do here? How did that move? Okay, let's put that back there. Come on. Let's turn off these okay. And also, I don't want extras. Okay. All right. So I'm sure many of you can relate to that. It's too GD smooth. This is what you'll get on Fiverr. So here's my current process is I color correct in Capture One, which I find to be superior to Lightroom. But doesn't matter if you use Lightroom, Capture One, whatever. Color grade, I fire it off to the retoucher, pay a few bucks a photo, which is super cheap, but I get this back. And then what I have to do is apply a black mask to the photo and then start painting in, where I want to bring in his fixes. So I still have to basically like now go over the photo completely with like a magic brush tool essentially, which is just my paintbrush, painting in the mask and just kind of going over everything that I assume that he fixed. And then of course I still get these like sharp edges, and it's not, I have to check things that I think might be wrong, and then sometimes they're fixed and sometimes they're not. So what, and like the arm, for example, if I was going in here, all I would have done was got rid of that, and maybe a little that, and that. Instead of the whole arm, every inch of it being hit with this effect. So to me, I just want that. On the face, I just want that. From that to that. In fact, that's even a little heavy, but it's better than this. So it goes original, what I want, but what I get from the retoucher that I have to pull back to this. So, okay, that's just to kind of see if we're all on the same page here. All right. So let's hop over. Now, some of you might have heard of this software, but it's called EVOTO. And what I'm going to do is, let me switch my window up here real quick. Let's go where I have some sample images, and I'm gonna come in here, and actually I haven't tried this software on this person yet, but we're just gonna do a very quick one, okay? I'm gonna say this is, so male, we're gonna do freckle and acne, okay? And then you can see it really, I'm just gonna hit spacebar before and after. It just goes in and only targets the problems. That is it. It doesn't hit the entire skin. That is what I love about this. Okay, and then you have so many oily face. So I'm gonna crank it all the way up, and you can see it reduces the shine. Okay, face, forehead wrinkle. And it's a nice light touch, which is what I want. Okay, eye wrinkle, dark circle, smile line. And you can just hit the things you want. And then here's the other beautiful thing. Let's say I had, oh, here we go, neck wrinkle. If I want to get rid of it completely, just crank it up. Okay, it's got double chin. I don't really get many of those with my subject matter. And I'm gonna go into more of the full body stuff and a lot of the other details on a different photo. But I just wanted to show you the difference between, you know, nuking the photo with what my retoucher does and having this nice fine-tuned control that only goes in and hits the target problems. Do they have an option for male, female, and single? They have there's no, I don't see the, never mind. Okay. Oh, single means, okay. So, there is a group mode, I believe, that can recognize the different faces in a group. So you could say, okay, this is a male, this person's a female, and this one's a child, all in the same photo. So that's cool too. I don't really do group stuff, so doesn't really, you know, do a whole lot for me. Oh look, teeth touch up, teeth whitening, boom, before, after. This is actually pretty crazy. Let me make sure I move my window real quick so you can see everything here. This one's kind of wild. Actually, hold on. Let me switch to a different window, and we're gonna take off the chat here. Okay. Pretty teeth. That's pretty freaking awesome. So, like, by the way, I'm only 10% into this. And would you agree that this is already like just wipes the floor with everything that is out there currently? He said, can I zoom in? Is it sharp? It's actually the same sharpness as the teeth that were there. And like, by the way, look at, you know, would you maybe go into Photoshop? Remember, I said I still go into Photoshop after I'm done with this, but I'm 95% there with a few clicks. And here's a beautiful thing. Let's say you had 5 photos of him that needed to be retouched. You could choose all of the exact settings that work on this person. You can save them as a preset, and you can sync them across. So down here on the bottom right, I can hit save preset and call it Nick or whatever his name is. And then I can also select across all the photos down here and then hit sync, and it'll apply everything I just did to all the photos. Okay, so let's hop into some other examples. Oh, hold on, before we move on here, let's point out, well, a couple things. Full body reshape. So there's AI reshape. So for the guy, it kind of makes him a little more swole. Head, just a little quick shrink of the head. Waist. I mean, I'm telling you, like, it is on point. The leg lengthening on females is incredible for a full-length photo, and we'll show that in a minute. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, we'll go more into the other stuff on a different photo. Okay, there is where is it? Body blemish. So watch this arm on the right. I'm gonna just sort of crank this up. So it does a pretty good job of, again, not wiping out and like softening the entire arm when you go into the body blemish. Let's see if it gets rid of the things that I had pointed out before. Yep, it's attacking it. By the way, there is a let's see here. There is a manual tuning tool. So like you can kind of undo the effect where you need it or where you don't need it. So I could actually sort of undo, let's say, the arm, and then I could say, all right, let's hold on, let's undo that. Okay. I could basically go in and I could just sort of pick out those parts that it really needed it. Okay. All right, so let's move on for a second. Tone that down. All right, the background. This feature I think is fantastic. So watch what it'll do. By the way, I'm gonna tell you that in a few, I'm gonna put a link into the chat where you can download the software, and if you use my link, you'll get 30 additional credits. So when you download the software, you'll get 5 credits. Each credit is 1 exported photo. You can mess around with 1,000 photos, but it's only once you export the photo that you worked on with those, everything you did baked in, that takes away 1 of your credits. Okay? And your like head's gonna explode when I tell you the price of the credits. So this is why I'm like also really happy with the software. Is not a ripoff, and it's based on how much you use it. So the guy that's a hobbyist is not paying some subscription fee, the same as the dude does it for a living and is churning out, 100 photos a week. Okay. Knee twitch. Okay, so you may not like the per credit, but I wouldn't like that if it was expensive. 1,200 credits. So if you're editing and exporting 200 photos a month, which is, I'm on average about 100 to 150, and I do this full time. I would have to get up to 200 to use the 1200 in a year, is $80. So don't get caught up on the, just put it this way, you probably will not need more than $80 for the entire year for this software. Now, going back to if you're paying a retoucher a few dollars a photo, and let's say you're doing 1,000 photos a year, you're $3,000 in. And that's a super cheap retoucher that's gonna blast the skin. Or if you're on Fiverr, $5. So I don't care how you mix it up. It's an incredible deal. It's like 6 cents a photo, basically. And God forbid you used half of your 1,200 credits. If you got 600 photos out of your 1,200 in a year for $80. By the way, also, I'm just gonna be really transparent. They're not paying me anything, okay? They've given me credits to play with, and I have a little affiliate link, but I am not receiving a paycheck at all from this company. So let me be very transparent with that off the bat. I'm just excited about it, and this last week was the first week in several years that I haven't sent a photo to my retoucher. And I've knocked out a lot of photos this week. So anyways, if you get caught up on the pricing, then I think you're missing the big picture. And compared to your options, which pretty much all suck. And I will happily pay 6 cents on a photo versus a few dollars and get the results that I want without having to send them to a person. By the way, I always have to do markups on my photos, so I have to stop, mark all the things that I want to make sure that he gets rid of, send it to him, wait a couple days, get them back, and that's like lightning speed for a retoucher. The fact that I get them back in a couple days, I've had the guys that take a week. Yeah, I can't argue the pricing model. The other option is they will do a monthly subscription. I don't want another monthly subscription. So I actually really like this, that the lowest package is $1,200, which is meant to basically cover everybody for a year. And yes, it expires in a year. So you could think of it this way. It's $80 a year for essentially unlimited for the average to even above average user. Unless you have an e-commerce studio and you do that full time, then you might need a bigger plan, and you're still saving a ton of money on time that you're either paying somebody that's sitting in your studio retouching all day or sending out your stuff and sourcing it out somewhere else, and with all the delays of sending it in between. So main issue. Okay, hold on. Let me see what some of the comments are here. We'll do more of the teeth whitening and play with more of those settings. I'm going to go through all the settings here, but I just wanted to go through some of the main stuff. What does this do with the whole body skin with fan or bikinis? I'm going to show you that as well. By the way, I agree that it's cheap now and it might creep up. So one, I would say jump on it and stack up your credits now. Let's see. So are you color grading in Capture One first, then importing in EVOTO and sending PS for final? Yes, I'm going Capture One, EVOTO, Photoshop. Now, EVOTO does have, it can accept raw files, and it has kind of your basic sliders. I still think Capture One is superior. I think if you already have your presets and you already have your workflow in Capture One or Lightroom, I don't see a need to do this. So I basically in Capture, hold on, I'm showing you the wrong screen. But basically here on the right-hand side, I just switched from the retouching panel to the color adjustment panel. And yes, it has like kind of all your main settings and adjustments and some presets. Personally, I have no interest in that. I'm not gonna. I played with it a little bit. I brought a raw file in. I still get better results in Capture One. So I would do color grade in Capture One, export a TIFF into my output folder, open it with EVOTO, do all the fixes there, sync it across those photos, open in Photoshop, and finish it off. Like getting rid of things in the background and whatever else I need to do. Maybe a little extra liquefy and stray hairs and stuff like that. What else? Let's see here. My main issue is no local processing. Wait, can you explain that? Question, when is the new workflow? How much is monthly? There is no monthly. It's just buying credit packages. And the basic package is 1,200 credits, which should cover pretty much everybody. And it lasts a year. You have a year to use your credits. So you can use up to your 1,200. It's like 80 bucks. By the way, that is right now 40 photos I get. For $80, I'll get 40 blasted photos. So this is like 1,000 times better deal than what I've been doing, and I think I've had the best deal. I believe it's like $83 or something. I don't know. Maybe it's 89, give or take. If it's studio, there's not a ton of CG, plus there's AI photo color, so I'd say, wait, what? I'm trying to figure out. Yes, it's a time saver. Does it do background cleanup? Nope, it does not. Does it prefer TIFF files? Well, let's put it this way. I always want to keep my file that I'm working on either a PSD or a TIFF. I would normally work in PSDs. This doesn't accept PSDs as of now. It accepts TIFFs, so I'm just putting a TIFF into that, and then that will be my main file that I will export any of my JPEGs off of. Another thing you can think of is this. If, let's say, like for me personally, I send out proofs. If I send out 150 proofs, or 100, let's say I decide, okay, from now on, I'm only gonna send 100 proofs to models, and I always give them the option to order more. Now we could actually apply a pretty good retouch, not just a color correction. I always send everything as like color corrected, even though they're supposed to pick, say, 10 photos, right, from my test shoot. I could send them 100 photos that I run through this, and now the proofs look really good and are like already cleaned up. And it took me very little extra time, but pretty much working on, one photo and then using that as a preset to sync across her entire shoot, because that model needed basically this, and this done. This is just the beginning, and there will be EVOTO-like competitors with perpetual licenses. Okay, hold on. Explain to me, what do you mean by local processing? Don't you mean processing done on your machine or versus cloud processing? Is that what you're saying? So EVOTO is cloud processed versus locally on your own machine? Oh, okay. Yeah, local processing is done on your computer, not sent out to a random server out there in cloud. Again, I don't give a shit where it gets done. I want it done the fastest. That's no issue to me, and probably 99% of people. What about when you want to export like 10 different sizes for your photos, a full res, one on IG for the web? So no, dude, your working file is your big TIFF. Finish it, do it in EVOTO, finish it in Photoshop. It lives in your library, whether it's in Capture One or Lightroom. From Capture One, export your JPEGs, export 1,000 JPEGs, it doesn't matter. You just need your master file to go through this once and then live in your main, in your shoots directory. Just to cut the credits. EVOTO is doing the local. Oh, by the way, this is Mandy from EVOTO just joined the chat. Mandy, thank you for joining. So EVOTO is doing the local processing. It uses the internet just to cut the credits. Okay. But you only spend the credit. Correct. You only spend the credits when you export out of EVOTO. It's still a win. It's still an awesome tool. I'm sold. I'll buy 1,200 exports for 80. By the way, don't sign up until I give you my link, because my link will give you 30 free credits. You'll get 5. By the way, also, if you, there's something that if you, maybe Mandy could jump in and explain, but when you download the software and you create your account, I think if you join the email list or something, you get 20 bonus credits. So you'll get 5 automatically. Do the thing for 20. I did that, and then use my link and get another 30. So you'll end up with 55 for free right off the bat. So let me, before I go any further, let me share the link. I'll also put it in the description below if you're watching this later on YouTube. Hold on one second. Photo. Okay, here we go. 1 second here. I'm gonna pull up the link that Mandy sent me. So by the way, I played around with this software and I wrote back, and I've been speaking to Mandy, who's now in the chat. And I told her, I said, hey, I've been using this software. I really like it. And I also have some suggestions. And we got on a Zoom call today from Singapore. And I told her, I was like, I'm so happy that you're actually taking the time to listen. And she was taking notes and writing down all the suggestions I made for other little features that I think would be really cool. Oh shoot, where is this? Here we go. Okay. Here is the link that will get you an extra 30 credits. Boom. There it is. It's in the chat. Okay. Does the software still work without the internet? No, we need the internet. Okay. So you need the internet for it to know that you have credits. So, okay, think about it this way. You couldn't, well, so does Photoshop and everything else now. I mean, so that's not an unusual thing. And I'm like trying to think right now, like, so if I was on a plane and I couldn't, which if I get on a flight and I really need internet, I pay the $8 and I get the internet. So even that doesn't bother me at all. Like, I just don't get caught. I'm like, these are, by the way, these are great questions and they're good little things to know. So let's just say you're going on a 13-hour flight and you didn't plan, you know how I'm going to use my 13-hour flight on some airline the one airline that doesn't have internet? I'm going to work on all my photos in EVOTO or Photoshop. You'd still be screwed in that too. So I guess it's good to know for the rare exceptional instance. But okay, let's see what other questions. There are 15 free credits for you guys if you get a vote within the next 40 hours. Maybe ask for a friend. What happens when I'm shooting in Tulum with no internet? I mean, can you use Photoshop in Tulum with no internet? I know I can't. I know that I can't. I've actually gotten stuck trying to use Photoshop on a plane and couldn't. I do a lot of work while on planes. Needing that internet is a bit of a killer. Should have a couple-day buffer in like AutoCAD when there's no internet. Yeah, listen, I think these are great questions. What I would suggest is maybe send a DM to EVOTO if you have these specific ideas or questions, or problems that you would run into based on, like, let's say the internet thing. But again, this has been Photoshop as well. And yeah, I've never been somewhere where I didn't have internet. In fact, I don't book a place where there's no internet. I mean, that's just the thing. How do you do your emails? If you can get internet on your phone, then you can tether to your phone for your laptop and you'll have internet. So I don't know where you guys are going out in the jungle and and then working hard or needing to work on the computer, but this hasn't, again, I don't know, you know, somebody might have this, but I'm kind of thinking more of the rule, not the exception. You want to knock out some editing, Let me see, my biggest gripe fan on being able to edit without internet. It makes me have to use pirate methods. Blah, blah, blah. Here, Twitch. Can I still get 30 minutes? Okay. Okay, let's hop into more of this stuff. Okay. I'm going to pull up a different photo. By the way, I pulled these photos up right before the stream, so I haven't played with them personally. So let's go on this one for a second. Okay. So I wanted to do a couple things here. Let's go back to the... I mean, she's got pretty awesome skin. By the way, do you see how it kind of tries to avoid the mole? But if you want to get rid of the mole, you just click the mole button and then it really gets rid of it. But if you didn't want to get rid of the mole, you could do the fine-tune eraser and just leave it. So just FYI on that. It's basically just giving you a mask to play with. Okay, so let's do body blemish. Let's do a little before and after. And I didn't crank it up. And let's see, I can keep going with it. And going and going and going until pretty much everything's gone. Now, by the way, I did say this before. I'm still going to go into Photoshop and like finish off that last 5%. But if this gets me to 95% in like literally a few seconds with a few sliders, so worth it. Let's see here. What else? Okay, smile line. Let's remove that. Dark circle. Eye wrinkles. Boom. And remember what I said, I can sync this, so I'll actually do that in a second. Let's go into a few more options here. I love this. This is funny. So this one, you can set a tan, and then once you apply it, like that looks like a pretty heavy spray tan, but you have a little slider. So you could dial it in, there's before and after, and decide where you want that tan to be. Love that. I love that filter for the model that shows up for a beach shoot, but looks like she hasn't seen the sun in 2 months. Obviously a bunch of different colors. You can change the temperature of that, and then of course the intensity of it. So again, before, after. I personally like this one and toned down a little bit, so before and after. Okay. All right, let's go a little more into some of these settings on this photo. Let's see, face, let's face shape. So some of the stuff that you're probably familiar with Photoshop. Let's see, cheekbone, jaw. Okay, you can make the face smaller. Trim the face down, face width. I think her hair is kind of blocking this. Okay, let's hop into some of the other ones. Eyebrows, thickness. This is where you get out of what Photoshop can do. Okay, the tilt. Sometimes, you know, when a model gives you like the people's eyebrow, you can tone that down. You can unlink it so you can just work on one side. I love that because I always have models that for some reason are like this in a bunch of photos. So I think that's a nice feature. Height, you can make them a little more serious. So let's say you would do this and bring it down. Boom. Okay. Let's see this symmetry thing. That's kind of interesting. I think it's worth playing with, but it can give you some little wacky results. Okay, eyes, size, height. Oh, wait a minute. You know what's funny? I actually talked to Manny today. I was like, you know, it'd be great if it can squint, and it actually can. And I didn't realize that height pretty much meant squint. I think the only issue here is that it kind of squeezes the iris and pupil a little bit. But okay, so let's keep going here. Nose, of course. And I think the way to do it is like you work on your first photo. You say, okay, this is my formula for this model. You either save a preset or you just sync it across them. What else here? What else? What else? Mouth. Let's go to width. Enlarge upper lip. It's not finding her lip too well. Let's see, lower lip, it's finding it. Okay, cool. All right, let's say the eyes. I'm not a big fan of like whitening the eyes. Highlight. I do like this feature. This just adds basically like a dodge to the face in the areas that you would want to highlight. And then if you want to sort of contour or burn, you can add that in as well. And I like this. This sort of intensifies or detensifies the eye makeup that's there. Lip adjustment, I like that. There are some presets in here, but let's go into some of these specific things. Eyebrows. Eyeshadow. Of course, there's intensity slider on all this. Eyelashes. So here we go, before, after. Play with the intensity. Contacts, this one is interesting. Okay, so watch this for a second here. What I would do with this setting and the way I found it is if you wanted to pop the color in the eye a little more, it comes on really strong, and then you would just pull it down to like 10%, and then the before and after is something like that. Let me get rid of that. The eye, hold on, where is it? There we go. Okay, so before and after, and then it just gives a little pop in the color of the eyes. I do like that, but if you wanted to change the color of the eyes, you could do that pretty easily. Again, I actually gave feedback that I think the default should be somewhere around 15 or 20. Okay. What else? Blush. Some presets for that. Again, there's the intensity slider as well. Lipstick. Boom. And then you even get options. Do you want it to be glossy? And it gives you that little shine on there. Before, after. I mean, like, you can go in and fix up a model that came and did like very subpar makeup on herself or was in a rush. It like doesn't matter. So okay, so there's some of that stuff. Let's see. Hi. There is enlargement feature here. Waist, hips. The leg length is interesting when it's a full-length shot. Okay, let's see what else we got to play with here that I haven't done yet. That's under the body reshape. We did the makeup. We did the face reshape. Did all that. Teeth, nothing to do there. Eyes, okay. So this is where I would say, okay, cool. I found a nice little setting for her. So here it is, before, after. And then what I can do is this. I can say, I have both of her files selected, right? I can just hit sync, pick which adjustments I want. It's processing it. Oops, I didn't mean to do it all of them. Shit. I just did it to the guy. I had all those files selected. But anyways, now I hop over here and it has the same settings applied. And man, for like e-com especially, this is like such a time saver. And then of course, I wouldn't churn it out and just totally rely. Like look at, it got rid of her belly button. So I would go back in and either tone down the body blemish, which you know, if they have good skin, I don't think you really need it. Let's see if I can reset all these. I ran this on accident on everything. And this poor guy got it as well. Okay. Okay. Nope, his didn't hit. All right, perfect. Okay. So one thing I want to also play with is the background tool. So this one's kind of interesting. If it sees that you worked on a clean, solid backdrop, it will basically just kind of balance it out for you. But another thing you could do is just pick the color that you want. Okay, so it gives you a bunch of options. So here's before and after. So now I get like a perfectly clean, solid backdrop color. And let's go in really tight on the hair and see how it did. I mean, kind of in a good way, it got rid of a lot of the strays when we did that. And another thing you can do is you can also upload your own backdrop color. So like I did this one the other day. This was an exact color I needed. And instead of my lighting where there was like a little bit of shadowing off to one side, I just made a JPEG in Photoshop of the exact color I wanted, which was a very, very light gray, put it in here, and then now it's in my little library. So for studio, for like e-com shoots, for headshots, I feel like this is huge. And there's also transparent. Let's see, what else? So I'm gonna reset that for a second. Okay, let me go to the chat here real quick and see what I'm missing. Also, if you're sending a model, say 50 selects, are you exporting 50 TIFF files into EVOTO? Okay, well, my suggestion was this. I typically, let's say I'm sending proofs, and I might send 100 proofs to a model. Right now, I just do a little color correction and send them over. If you really wanted to, like, let's say you had a business, you know, so a lot of like wedding photographers or portrait photographers will do a session, and basically the client gets to choose and purchase the images from the set. In that case, where like you really want them to see great proofs, it's probably worth it. Because if you sold one extra photo for like $75 or something, you know, a lot of those portrait sessions are kind of expensive. If you sold one extra photo, you're basically paying for like almost 1,200 credits, and you used 100 of them to do so, to make that set look really awesome, to increase the likelihood that they bought additionals. And if they buy like 1 or 2 additionals, you've paid off the credits that you used to make that set look better. So that's, I'm not saying I would necessarily do that, because my models kind of, they're professional models. They see the proofs. They're not, they know it's going to get retouched. So they kind of have like realistic expectations. But a lot of people don't know what's going to be fixed when they see the proofs, and the proofs are a big selling point to them. So if you can juice up your proofs by running them through this, and yeah, it costs you 100 credits, so times 6 cents, so you spend an extra $6, right? Am I doing the math right? To just hope they buy more because they're seeing a better, like closer to finished product. That's pretty cool and not a bad deal. The watermarking. Okay, he said something about the watermarking. By the way, the watermarking is just when you are working on it so that you can't go bypass your credits, screenshot your image on here, and then use that, and then have unlimited credits. So yeah, I guess, you know, it might bother you aesthetically while you're working on this, but I get why they do it. And also, when you sort of check your original, like the watermark goes away, so it makes sense why they have the watermark on there. Let me see here. Oops, hold on. I was not showing the screen while I was doing that, but this is what he's referring to, the watermarking back here. So basically, I can't just work on this photo and then no credit used, got it, and I got a nice little JPEG for free. So yeah, makes sense to me. Let's see. Okay, reading the comments here real quick. Nathan asked, Mandy, what if I became a user? She's saying you can just make a second account just to get a free 30 credits and then use those and then go back to your main account. Well, you'd actually get the 5 credits plus the 30, plus you can get the 20. So, all right, let's see. Okay. CAD, before that, it used to have a USB key option that would log the credits. Okay, I don't want to be known as the 13 guy. It's my biggest gripe is not a fan of me. Okay, we read that already. Yeah, I guess if you're doing all of your editing in Tulum on no internet, this is not for you. Let's see. Okay, so the answer to that question about is the exporting done locally and only the credits are needed for the syncing, and that is correct. How about when there is a ton of bare skin? Okay, this is an incredible tool. Do you think it levels the playing field for photographers, i.e. your average shooter will look like a world beater? I think what it does is this, and I'm basing this off of what I see at my workshops. There's a lot of guys that come to the workshops and they're great with the camera, and which, by the way, look, at shooting is the fun part. And where they fall behind is that they just don't want to take the time to really learn Photoshop and Capture One and all this stuff. And some people just don't have time. This is now what I'm going to tell those guys to use. And honestly, if this gets you 95%, and you don't know Photoshop to do the other 5% of things, like maybe the more advanced stuff, you still got, instead of 0%, you got to 95. So it's a huge help to those who get stuck on the post-processing, which is most people. You know, do you know how many times I hear models say, man, I wish that photographer would have just sent me the raw photos because I loved the proofs, and then I got the finished files and it's like they butchered it in Photoshop. They didn't know how to do the finesse, you know, the skin retouching, and now it looks blotchy and weird, or they went too heavy or this or that. Now people are still going to go too heavy, you know, give them any tool and they will butcher it. But the point being is that now where I see a lot of butchering is when you zoom in just a little bit, and you can see all the places that somebody was using the healing brush, but they didn't pull the texture in correctly, and it's flat, textured, flat, blotchy. So this will be massive to those guys that are like the weekend warrior photographers. So I would be correct in interpreting that EVOTO seems similar to portraiture, prefer the underlying algorithms, you can be more subtle with everything. Look, I've played with portraiture, and I was not a fan of it at all. Just didn't see, and by the way, I'll be honest, it's probably been over a year since I played with it. I'm not sure how much better it's improved, but every time I heard, you know, oh, they just updated it, it's AI now or whatever, and it never impressed me. Okay. Should we just make a script? Okay, cool. I'm curious to see if it has a flyaway hair slider. It does not, but Mandy told me today that is actually something they are working on adding to the program. By the way, you know, one of the things I like about this, and I bought probably 5 of those Retouch for Me plugins, even though like I don't really use them. She said they're working on eye vein or vessel removal, which I do like that plugin from Retouch for Me, even though it's kind of cumbersome to use. And they're working on flyaway removal for this. And the good thing is it doesn't come as another $125 plugin that you have to buy. Once in a while, can you zoom in, please? 100 to 200%. Thanks. Yep, I will do that. I'm gonna work on some more photos and then go a little more ham on this. By the way, since Manny's here in the chat, if you have suggestions that don't have to do with stealing photos and removing watermarks, please add them to the chat here. See, I'm pretty good so far though. Okay, saying this as professional as possible, you may please revisit the hip slider when you have a side or back picture of the model. I have a few that ask for that to be enhanced. So he's talking about enlarging the dump. Let's see, the badonk. Okay, does the watermark ever in the work area when you buy credits? No, the watermark is not there when you export out. So yeah, if you don't export, you're not using a credit. So you can play around all day until you say, cool, this is the file that I'm ready to export, then a credit is used. Sorry, I'm behind on the chat. You guys are, which I'm really happy to see all of the, this is the most chatted up Twitch we've had in a while. Shows Tiff, nothing, single signs are. Okay, so Niall brought up something that I think what he's saying is to have an option for an exported version with your watermark on it. Again, though, I see from their end, and I think what he's saying is one that doesn't use a credit because it comes out with your watermark, so you can use it as a proof. I don't know. I think you're getting like hung up on the watermark thing for some reason. Who cares about the watermark while you're looking at the skin and doing a quick blemish removal. Donato, what's up? Let's see. I approved thousands of watermark photos of my clients. They asked for export while using. Donato, this is EVOTO. EVOTO. By the way, again, the link to download it and get 30 additional free credits I just put in the chat. Niall's basically trying to ask for, can I get a free, without using a credit, let me get a version with my watermark in place of the EVOTO watermark that I can show my client, and only if they buy it, then I'll go ahead and go back and export out and use a credit. Yeah, I get what you're asking, but by the way, Niall's notoriously a penny pincher, so we can expect lots of these questions. How can I get, without paying, close on photo at least this way disabled. Okay, here's a good question. Can somebody work on their photos without internet, but then only be allowed to export them when they're back on service? So like, I can work on my files, I'm not on the internet right now, but later when I get back on the internet, I can just do that final export of all the things that I worked on. Mandy, maybe you can answer that question for us. Okay, it's the watermark for me. I'd rather pay a yearly flat rate to remove it or a monthly rate. As pros, we can't turn in a screenshot for work. But you don't get a watermark when you so this is the the watermark is there so you can't export for free without using a credit. When you export, there's no watermark. So you're not giving your client something with a watermark. This is like basically saying, well, I mean, that's really it. You're never giving a client something with a watermark. Okay, love your work, Joey. I bought your training videos, etc. Some of the features in this app remind me of some of your actions. Liquefy. Thank you for the compliment. And yes, for sure, some of these actions like take away my need to go in and fine tune it. Yes, Niall, thank you. Please move on from the fucking watermark. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna block all watermark chat just so we can talk about something else. Okay, all right, cool. I'm gonna go back into Jesse. Welcome. We're talking about watermarks. Just kidding. We're definitely not talking about watermarks anymore. All right, let's play with some of the other features here. Okay, so this photo I haven't edited yet. Actually, let's go ahead and just do a quick little playing around with some of the settings. So let's see, like right off the bat, I'm just gonna, she doesn't really have bad, she's got great skin. Okay, so that's not a problem. I'm gonna say get rid of the eye wrinkle, which she doesn't really have either. The dark circle, we can remove. Boom. Okay, so before after, that looks great. Smile line, I'm gonna tone that down. So before and after, that looks awesome. Neck wrinkle, she doesn't have. Okay, double chin, she definitely does not have, and she doesn't have stomach stretch marks. Okay, let's do body blemish removal, and you can see where it hit some little areas. It's kind of hit some of these little shadowy areas. Okay, cool. I would say overall that looks pretty good. Again, I just would do a little light cleanup in Photoshop. This is something I wanted to play with. I'm not probably something I would tap into often, but I figure let's just give it a run on here. But you can do a sky replacement, and let's see here. I know right off the bat it's gonna probably look crazy. Okay, of course it does. But of course you can blur the sky to make it look more like what you kind of had going on there. And then I thought this was kind of interesting. The water reflection. So if I turn this all the way down, that's the original water. Okay, so now it's just the sky that changed. It basically gives you a sort of matching hue to the new sky in your water, which I thought is pretty cool. And then let's see, what is water blur doing here? I don't see it really doing much. What else? Sky brightness, so we can tune that up a little bit. It's actually not bad at all. Okay, then human color. That's interesting. So you could see that sort of it's kind of matching her skin a little bit to the ambient light that would be coming from that sky. And then if there was more scenery in the back, now I wonder, let's see what the edge adjustment does. Oh, it's actually not bad at all. I've never, see again, my expectations are so low from all of the other, like the Photoshop sky replacement was like, oh, that sounds cool. And it was like, womp. This actually looks, this one looks really good. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked about making the butt bigger. I don't know if, well, I think was that Othello saying about from a side shot. I don't know if I have a good side shot for, oh wait, yeah, I do. Hold on, we could try it in a second. Hold on. Okay, let's go back to body reshape. Oh my god, give this to a model and this is what every photo is gonna look like. Okay, give it to an Instagram model and then you get this. Okay, but seriously though, okay. Let's try hips. I actually do like that. That's a nice feature. Leg length, I freaking love that slider. Many of you have probably seen me use the perspective in Capture One to sort of achieve like stretching out the legs, but you're also kind of hitting the rest of the photo. This just hits from the legs down. Okay, let's go to the side shot and let's see. No, this one's not gonna give. There's not a butt enlargement. Sorry, bud. Okay, moving on. I wanted to play with the background on a full-length shot. By the way, this is kind of nice too, that you can just add a little color to just the background with this background enhancement slider. But let's just see clean, solid backdrop and see what that does. Okay, that one's not doing much on a full-length shot. Okay, let's try this. I'm just curious how this is gonna handle. Yeah, see, it doesn't. I think this is better for 3/4 shots, but once you show the floor, then you're kind of in a little weird zone. But for a 3/4 shot, or I mean, look at this does say, by the way, headshot background changer. It's not made for full length, but for 3/4 headshots, which, by the way, if I go back out, this is kind of the home window of EVOTO. Let me move myself for a second. So whenever you have a new project, so like I made this sample image project, these are the headshots that Chris sent me. So I want to open some of these. These are all raw files. Actually, this one's great. Watch this. If I do the face freckle and acne remover, and then I hit like, wait, don't forget to get rid of the mole. It just gets rid of it. Now, again, didn't I say you get like 95% of the way? If you have to go in Photoshop and do a couple little quick fixes, not a bad thing. Actually, let's try this here. Ooh, this is interesting. The double chin sort of contours the bottom of the face and puts a little shadow where it needs to be to help remove the look of a double chin. So I told Chris, I'm like, dude, for headshots, you're set, man. Teeth touch up, teeth whitening. Let's see here. And I love it's not like just turning them into chitlets. And then don't forget there's the pretty teeth tool, which that's pretty good. I mean, you might sharpen it a little bit in Photoshop if you're going that extensive anyways. By the way, I wouldn't really recommend that unless it was like not for a headshot where somebody's trying to represent like themselves. It's probably not a good suggestion to use. But let's try this. Let's see what the background does. That is not bad at all. And remember, you can add your own color. So I could literally have Photoshop open on the side and just say, hey, I want a dark solid gray. I wish you could pick from like a color wheel. That would be the ultimate. Mandy, can we add that to those suggestions that I mentioned? If there could be just like a color picker for a background color, that would be awesome. But yes, that's pretty damn good. And let's see what the edge adjustment does if I play with that for a second. Oh, nice. Actually, we mentioned earlier about the strays getting kind of cleaned up. So you could sort of figure out where your sweet spot is or just leave it kind of all the way off. And then remember, I could, let's just say for this set of photos, I did corporate headshots and everybody's supposed to get the same thing. So I could basically now go across the board, hit sync. And everybody gets the backdrop in one shot. And remember, like, while there is not a color picker, you can just go into Photoshop, upload your own, or create a solid backdrop color, pop it in here, and then add it. So I think that's pretty sweet as well. You'll see it takes a second to... By the way, on this one, I would do the oily face fix. Boom. Yeah, Chris has... I have to send this to Chris to watch tomorrow. I don't know if he's on the stream or watching, but and then look, and just like a couple little clicks, and then look at, she did her own makeup, so maybe we want to oh my god, I love it. All right, lipstick. Let's glam you up, girl. Come on, where is it? Lip color adjustment. Oh, it's not really seeing her lips too well. There we go. Okay. there's the glow up. And then I could pick glossy. You go, girl. All right. Oh, MP's on. Great. MP. Okay, so we have MP, who is half of Chris Headshots, the Chris Headshots team, the better half. And don't tell Chris I said that. MP says we will be using it. Boom. Okay. Oh, Danny Rivera's on. Danny, what's up, man? Let me check out the chat for a second. MP, like, how ready are you for this? Neck wrinkle. Gone. Smile line. Gone. I mean, this was like seconds. By the way, when I first played with FaceApp, and if you haven't played with FaceApp, which is what basically every Instagram model is using to look like a supermodel, it's incredible. And I remember playing with it. I was like, if somebody makes this for the desktop, like, please somebody make this for the desktop. This is basically, this is pretty close to that. FaceApp has some crazy stuff, like it can change the hair color and add bangs and different hairstyles and change your gender and all kinds of other crazy shit that's kind of wild, but it's doing it on like lower res images. But to do this at full res on your TIFF files, like, is pretty freaking awesome. Look at, oh, remember, if I want to keep the face mole, just keep that unchecked. Check it if I want to get, so even that is like a small detail. I love it. Okay, let me read some more of the chat before I go forward. Yeah, let's all send Niall 10 extra credits for his birthday so he'll shut up about the credits. Hey there, those tones, my friend, smoke going off. Okay, shoot, I think I'm reading like the Sophia comments. Waste Kardashian tool, basically. The teeth whitening does not look crazy, correct. This program, Danny says, this program will be great for my job. When we do a 6 suspect lineup, all the backgrounds have to be the same color. So Danny does photos for his police station, his police agency. I never thought of this for lineup photos, suspect lineup photos. Can you sync? Yes, you can sync all of the. You can save a preset. You can sync them across. Well, what you just saw. Okay. Putting Savage and Westcott backdrops out of business. Yeah, at least for headshots. Yeah. I'm gonna submit this to my police chief. MP said we will be using this. You mentioned something that would be 10 times sales for us. Wait, what was that, MP? What did I mention that would be 10x sales? Norman, what's up? Now, can you run iOS apps natively on your MacBook? What? So I actually tried to get FaceApp to run on a Mac by using like an emulator, blah blah blah. I never got it to work. It was a huge pain in the ass. So trust me, when I first saw FaceApp, I was like, I gotta get this onto my computer so I can, and I went deep down the rabbit hole attempting and was installing like rogue software that I was afraid as I was hitting the install button. Okay, Now that you mention that, and since the edits are so subtle, this would be great for doing passport pics too. Absolutely. Since you already have Lightroom, have you tried the denoise AI? It's perfection. I have not. MP says you just eliminated 3 weeks time. So again, I love hearing that from a full-time studio manager, MP, that they are churning out. MP, you guys are doing like how many headshots a day on average? I think Chris told me that you guys are churning out about 200 headshot edits per month, roughly. Is that correct? P Dixon, what's up? Can we get the link again? Yes, you can. Here it is. I'm actually gonna do my own headshot tomorrow. It's like my plan for tomorrow is to set up a little studio, and I'm like so happy that I have this to fall back on when I get to the editing, so I don't have to stare at my own face. Want to go back and go into some of the files that I actually was working on personally. So let's do this again. I'm gonna work on a little bit more. Okay, so this is the lovely Ophelia, who, by a unfortunate turn of events, Ophelia was hit by a car less than a week after we did this photo shoot and put in the hospital for a week. Has a broken hip, pelvis, sternum, clavicle, and shoulder. But she's actually miraculously like walking right now. I mean, like she's up, but you know, still on pain meds, but she's home now. Well, she's staying with a friend. She's recovering. She had like all of the skin on her back scraped off, a lot of on her front hip, and she's recovering great. I'm like very happy to see that. So, you know, send some good energies toward Ophelia. I did visit her in the hospital a few times right after it happened, and she's great spirits and coming around. In fact, they just had a nice little event yesterday that she was able to attend, a little fundraiser for her. But yeah, she got smashed. Yep, she's out of the hospital. So MP says they do 200 plus headshots per month. Okay, so this is what let's just do a real quick one here. And this is what I love about this, is it just goes right in on the problem area. So look, just before and after, like that saved me a few minutes in Photoshop. If I can save a few minutes times hundreds of photos a year, like this adds up massively. Let's see. Okay, she doesn't have any of these issues. Eye wrinkle, we can tone down. Dark circle, cool. Boom. Smile line, boom. Neck wrinkle, boom. And again, this is my suggestion on using the software. It's just kind of figure out your tolerances for each person that you're working on and then sync it up across the board, and then do a quick little scan of each photo to just see if one of the, you know, corrections that you made came out a little funky due to how another photo looked. Let's do body blemish a little bit. I crank that up. I'm trying to see. So see, body blemish will hit some things that I don't want to hit. So that's why I would use this one very lightly, to be honest. Okay, skin retouching. So let's do something here real quick. Smooth face skin, and let's play with this. Dodge and burn. See, that's starting to get too perfect for me, but I could see for certain instances that might be nice. Face skin smoothing, not my style. Body skin smoothing, again, that sort of goes more into the realm of like frequency separation, not my style. Rosy complexion, you can just... Okay, unify body complexion. This one's actually pretty interesting, so let's play with this for a second. By the way, I think this is where swimwear photos are great for examples, because they let you see how software will work on the entire body, not just what's popping out of the neck of a shirt. Okay, so do you see how it's sort of like almost averages all of the skin. And I think it's kind of basing it on her face is what it appears to me. But then let's say I could do this. Add this, cool that down a little bit. Let's maybe take that down from being so extreme. And there, it's just like a nice, that's what I want. I want a little pop of fixing. Okay, so let's hop into face. I always give everybody a little, I would always do this in Photoshop, boom, knock that out right off the bat. Eyes, we could do a slight little brightening of the eyes. Where else here? See, that's kind of hitting a weird angle. Nose, mouth's good. And large, and I like that, like, this is not going crazy, right? So if you just do a little lip enhancement, it's nothing major. Okay, let's hop into makeup and watch this. Eyebrows, boom. I mean, you can just now pick. Oh, you know what would have been nice if. So there's the sort of before. Okay, lipstick. I think when I worked on these photos, I actually applied this. I toned it down a little bit, and I made it satin. Contacts. Okay, with dark eyes, right? She's got dark brown eyes, and this was not a very well-lit area. This is great. Okay, now it goes to crazy Halloween, but bring it down to like 15%. And you just get a little pop of color, maybe like 10%. I would go really subtle with something like that. I love that. Okay, somebody asked something about background. Watch this. There is background enhancement. And it's basically just saying without hitting the model too much or the skin. I guess it's really like trying to work on... But this, again, I believe is meant more for studio stuff. All right, let's see if I missed anything here. That would be good to show. Eyeshadow. Oh, yeah. Let's check this out. I think I actually did on these photos. By the way, she loved these photos. I sent them to her, like my finished photos. So look, this is before, and then and I love that it's instant results with your slider. Cool. Okay, so I could save this preset, and I can call it Ophelia, but I could also just like go on to the next photo. I could actually just go across, like, let's say this whole batch that was shot kind of similar, and just hit sync. And now I'm going to show you what the before and afters are on all of the photos that I didn't spend a second working on. So look at, remember the eyes? And you can see she gets that little like extra tan pop. That's from when I played with the skin tone. Let's go over here. Boom. Oh, this would be a good one to show you the leg. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let me just get rid of some of these. Okay. So that would be under full body reshape, leg length, and I think that's a really nice little feature. She doesn't need it for this photo, but actually this would be a good one to do it on because I shot from that little bit of a higher angle. And then again, look, this is before and after. That's really nice. And then here is the, by the way, Jesse, the catfish game. Listen, the catfish game is already, it's done. And they're going to do it on FaceApp. They're not going to get off of their phone to catfish you. So now it's our turn. But I love that, the leg feature for like a shot like that. It's great. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I mean, I feel like I've covered it. Mandy, maybe if you're still on here, I don't know if you have any suggestions for MP. There is a masking tool, so you can actually go. Where is it again? Shoot, hold on. At the top, if I go here, I can decide to undo. You know, like let's say you feel like it hit something really hard. Well, I guess that actually, the masking applies to this portion, the blemish removal. Yeah, that's what it's for. Okay. So if you feel like it messed with something, you can go in and undo that. Okay, back in the chat for a second. Let me see if I have any other questions I missed out on. Lousy t-shirt says, okay, I'm sold. How do I use your referral code to get the extra credits? You just use the link that I put in the chat. Here it is again. Just that's where you'll start the download and account setup process. Body blemish removed a lot of shadows on her torso. Do you think it would work on getting wrinkles out of clothes? Actually, Mandy told me today that they are working on a clothing wrinkle correction. Joey, also don't forget to mention these are all 47 megapixel images, so it goes with the resolution of your chip. Yeah, so yeah, these are full res TIFF. These I didn't send these out to work on like smaller JPEGs. These are like my massive files. How are you navigating in Capture One to open images in EVOTO? I'm trying to find the Lightroom equivalent. Just create an export preset that basically says, don't scale down my image, send it wherever you want. Like I would say in Lightroom, just make a TIFF right in the same folder next to your original file. So basically you're gonna create an export that's gonna duplicate it to the same location as the original file. And then, you know, add a, to the naming, maybe like EVOTO or something. And then now in EVOTO, add that file. Or like, okay, here's how I'm doing it in Capture One. In fact, why don't I just show you exactly me working in Capture One. And I'll show you. So I made an export preset in Capture One that takes my raw file. I've done the color correction in Capture One, and now I go, okay, export it as a TIFF to my output folder, and then I open EVOTO, I go to that output folder, and I import those TIFF files. Just grab the whole batch. Now I open them up. When I export out of EVOTO, I basically say leave it in the new export in the same folder next to that TIFF. When I'm like done with the job, I could just delete the TIFFs that were in the middle. But anyways, that's up to you how much you want to save versions of the files. But I'm gonna hop over to this for a second. So like here, let's go to my capture folder, and let's just say these are the files that I worked on. I would basically like select my files, go over here to my export recipes, and I made one. I call it EVOTO TIFF to output. Now, I just changed it for this demo, but I'm gonna change it back to what I had it as, was this. For my demo, I made a little folder on my desktop to send the TIFFs to, so I can just delete it later. So, okay, I would do this, TIFF 16-bit uncompressed pro photo. I just basically give me the biggest file. I want to keep this as my master, my new master file. Okay. Same way I would send it to my retoucher. I'm like, here's a master TIFF or PSD for you to work on, and then I bring it back, go into Photoshop. So this is like, pretend you're handing it off to a retoucher when you're giving it to EVOTO, or when you're in the stage going from Lightroom or Capture One to EVOTO. You are creating a really large, you know, full res file. It's no longer a raw file, but you're done processing the raw color. Which, by the way, it can take your raw files. I just personally still will choose to work on my color correction with the raws in Capture One. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit export. And then now if I go over here to my output folder, I'm gonna have another, I mean, these are the ones I just exported for version. Oh, by the way, watch what I did with, look at her hair. This is the final file that I did. I used Photoshop Beta to get rid of that building in the top really easily. And I literally selected right around her hair in the empty spot and said add hair. I did it once here and once here and got that. Then I selected her forehead and said, and I just hit generate, and then I got something like that. Or I think I hit bangs and I got that. So these are like my final before and afters. This one was interesting. In Photoshop, I basically said, man, I went heavy on that grain. Shit. Jeez. Okay, we'll chill on that next time. But I selected her forehead and I said add bangs, and then that was like the first one it threw me. It was great. So before, after, I also believe I did bangs in Photoshop on this one as well. So this was my set with Ophelia, the befores and after, like the color graded befores and then the after. Okay, let me go back into, oh, and here's the last step is that, okay, if I was here and I say, okay, new project, and I call this Ophelia, we'll just call this Ophelia 2 since I already have one. And then I basically would go into my 2023 Ophelia. Where is she in here? Output, and then I would select those TIFFs. Now I have so many duplicates now because I just did this a second time. But let's say the first batch, I would only have those new TIFFs that I created that were ready for EVOTO, and I would select them and then hit open. So it's like, really, these are the ones that just came out, is like the additional numbers, right? And hit open, cool. And now it has, I'm ready to go. So that's my process. When I'm done, I would go to export, and then I actually would go into custom settings and say, it just, if I don't touch it, it goes right back to where I had it, where the original file was. So it'll make a new one, okay? Keep original file names. Do not create a new subfolder. I leave this as default, which is going to be what it currently is. Okay, so it's already a TIFF. It's going to just save it back out as a TIFF. And then I hit export, and then those will land back in Capture One. So when I would come here in my output folder, they would be sitting there ready for me to open in Photoshop and do any of my finishing touches. Sergio says, would be nice to add a way to export it with the effects separately, so like on a separate layer. This like skin retouch separately from the rest without having to use 2 credits, if that makes sense. I actually think that's a great idea. Mandy, if you're still on, I would say that's actually a really good, that would be a great option, is to say effects on a second layer. Now that would only work if you're sending it out as a TIFF, because TIFF would be the only option that supports layers from the file types that it lets you choose from. Okay, let me read some more of these questions here. My question is, how long do we think this will be ahead of Photoshop's built-in neural filters, liquify, whatever other smart filters they have? I don't know, but I feel like they've been really slow on that, and it's like they came in strong with a bunch of things that were like not super usable, or they were just a little gimmicky, and they've not really improved. I don't know why. Maybe because they're putting more of their time into like Adobe Firefly, and they're just pure like Mid-Journey style tools. But loving generative fill, by the way. Were you going to mention something else? Sounds like you were about to say something different, then saw my comment. LOL, I don't know. Ooh. I forget. Sorry, I'm behind on the comments. How will agencies react to getting digitals from this? What do you mean exactly? I don't understand the question. Catfish how? So software is, by the way, it's all catfish already. This is just lets you do it way faster. So software is already updated for free because you pay with the credit. Yes, correct. The software gets updated. Correct. By the way, remember that if you sign up and get a bunch of free credits, you can play with it and decide if you want to, if you think it's going to help your business and your retouching workflow, you can do it risk-free. So it's definitely worth a shot. I'm already like, I'm so happy that I don't have to send out stuff and wait for it to come back. Sean D says, hi Manny, when using Joey's link, put in the email, it says download, get 5 files only, not the 30. Do we download first to get them all? The extra credits will send to your account. If you use the link to sign up and log in, it will add to your account. If it is not work for now, I'll check to add it manually within 24 hours. Okay, cool. Yeah, Laz, you can make a duplicate, but if you make a true duplicate, you're duplicating your raw file, and if you made changes to your raw file, you're not going to see those changes in EVOTO because it's not the same raw processor. So you need to bake your changes in to something like a TIFF and then open it in EVOTO. Unless you want to use EVOTO to do your color correction, which again, I told you I'm not. That's not how I'm planning to use it. And remember, yes, like Christian says here, you only are using a credit when you export an image that you played with and that you corrected. You don't use a credit by opening one of the images in EVOTO and messing with it. It doesn't use a credit upon opening and then you're like, oh man, I don't like this image, how it turned out, and I lost. No, you have to be happy with it before you export it, and at that point, that's when your credit gets applied. But by the way, I think again, for $80 for 1,200 credits, if you like accidentally exported by, you had your eyes closed and you hit the export on 10 images and you lost 10 of your 1,200 credits, that was 6 cents each. So you accidentally lost 60 cents. So yeah, I think the pricing is actually awesome. I think I was actually first a little bit like, oh, credits, and because I'm not used to it, and it's like, what do I like better? Subscriptions, that I have 20 subscriptions that I don't even use 90% of them anymore, and I don't realize, I forget I'm being charged for them every month. I actually kind of appreciate not everything being a subscription. So yeah. do you think editing's more than you would have before using EVOTO? No, I don't think so. But I'm like, how do I connect Lightroom to the app? Hey man, I just got on, so what's the software? Sean, it's EVOTO. By the way, Sean, I'm gonna actually keep this video public on my YouTube channel instead of behind Patreon, just because I wanna share this one a little more. Let's see, oh, so Mandy says that they actually will support, we support you to extend the usage time once. So I guess for one time, like one package that you buy, you'll get an extended usage past the year point. MP says, this is great. Thanks for the share. You're welcome. MP, I'm glad you were able to hop on. I told Chris, I was like, dude, you got to get on here, and better yet, MP's got to check this out. So I'm glad you're able to get on live with us. Yeah, and by the way, let's again not forget that the other software that people were getting kind of hyped up about, and I even bought and spent hundreds of dollars on that I rarely use, is the Retouch for Me. And each little plugin is $125, and maybe you get it for 20% off. They always have sales, so $100 a pop minimum. And you're this is like all-in-one software that gets updated, and is like way better in my opinion. So is your secret retoucher not getting your business now? He's not gonna get as much as he used to, that's for sure. I think really I'm just gonna send him files that have like extreme background things that like, and I have a lot of them or whatever it is. It's, yeah, this is actually, I mean, this time was coming. I think the thing that retouchers should do is start using these programs and charging less. Next, Maximus says, just tested it, pretty good results for AI. How many credits do we get if people use our referral code? Could it roll over for future? Just downloaded it and I only got the 5 credits as well, but I read about the 24 hours. Okay, cool. I'm sure Mandy will, she'll see everybody that signed up with my link and we'll make sure you get those extra credits. Also, don't forget there's something in there that if you like put in your email or you subscribe to the newsletter or something like that, I forgot what it was, you get 20 extra credits. So do that, you'll get the 5 plus the 20 plus my 30, and you'll have 55 credits. So you'll have plenty of time to decide if you like this before you spend a dime. And again, I was like skeptical as always last week playing with it for the first time, and then I started using it. I was like, oh shit, I'm like, this is the real deal. Any other questions in here? Retouching decisions and sitting down to execute them bog down my days. I'd love to use EVOTO as a pre-editor and have the price labeled as quick edits, and then have more intensive edits labeled differently for more money. Absolutely. So I have always thought of this for like, if you have like an a la carte model to your shoots, you could absolutely say light retouching and show an example. Take a picture and put this on your website or like in the email that you send out. Have the before photo, have light retouch, which is like the EVOTO only, and then have full retouch, you know, or magazine retouch or some shit, whatever you want to call it, as the third option. And that's the one that means that you're going to go into Photoshop and do more work. And that middle one, you're going to charge still, let's say it's like $25 for a light retouch, or $15 for a light retouch, and $35 for a full retouch, or $50 for whatever it is. If you score that middle one, like that's the easiest $25 times however many photos because you're gonna sync the settings across them. So yeah. Again, they're not paying me, so I just want to let you know this. The excitement I have is just like actual. Sean says, "Is this Sean? You're gonna have to go watch the whole thing again because you're gonna ask all the questions that we beat to death earlier." But to give you a quick answer, Sean, no. The cloud portion is just to make sure you have to be online to make sure that you actually have the credits. That's what it's doing. It's just like with Photoshop. You have to be online so it knows that you actually have a license. But the processing is done locally on your machine. This looks goated. There's nothing to lose by trying it except bandwidth. Like, is there a queue to have something done? No, it's not. It's very fast. Chrono Corsa, I just got the 25, or the 55 just now. Amazing. Don't forget about the PS beta version. Yes, that's the next thing I'm going to go into is a little bit of Photoshop beta. Daniel Lightfoot, hey, what's up, bud? Happy to finally catch one of your streams. You have a headshot of a normal guy, no makeup. You can show us with EVOTO. Yeah, I did do that already, but let me pop it on screen again. Let me go back out to the home, into the samples. Well, here, this was, I'll go, this was where we just applied a background and I used the sync feature to put that background on every photo, and then it shows you the before and after. And then I can quickly go in here and say fix oily face, whiten, let's do brighten the teeth, maybe enhance the eye brightness a little bit. I don't think it really sees his eyes too much. Oh, of course, freckle and acne removal. Boom, done in like 2 seconds. And look at before, after in like literal seconds. Face, forehead wrinkle, he doesn't have that. Eye wrinkle, tones that down a little bit. Dark circle removal. Boom. Again, before and after, and you can sync that if he had multiple photos. Let's find another one. Oh, this is a good one to try the freckle and acne. Oh, oh man. Smile, shiny four. I'm just gonna call out the things that I would fix. Boom, smile line, maybe a little bit. Okay. Damn. MP, I know you're excited about this. Okay, let's do the mob boss. You better get rid of my face, forehead wrinkle. Boom. Boom. Let's go a little stronger. Boom. Eye wrinkle. Dark circle. Oh, yeah, is this on male? Yeah, it is. Boom. Smile line. Double chin. Neck wrinkle. And before, after. It doesn't get easier than that. Let's see here. Let me go all the way with the double chin. All right, this is great, Chris. Thank you for sending these. By the way, do you see how it automatically detects male, female? I didn't have to go up there at all and choose that. Like, I'll be honest, this kind of makes retouching fun again, because I don't have to get all in the zone. I'm like sitting here barely clicking. I'm like, let's get rid of that and that and that. And I don't have to think, man, that's going to take me fucking 4 minutes to do that one little thing, and then I'm not compromising by like you can't be lazy. Let's see what neck wrinkles does. Ooh, man. And by the way, it's like, look at, we're not trying to make her not look like, oh wait, there's elderly. Oh shit, hold on a second. I'm very curious to see, no offense, this nice woman, but smile line, neck wrinkles, double chin. I feel like the more you learn the software, you'll just know where to like hit the sliders. Boom. These are, man, thank you to Chris and MP for sending these images. This is great. I think I somehow accidentally sent a text message to MP. I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's say eye wrinkles, dark circles, oily face, freckle and acne. Boom, got rid of that. Smile line, tone that down a little bit. Neck wrinkle, double chin, and boom. And teeth. Wait, a little bit of eyes, a little bit of teeth. Pretty teeth. Boom. With whitening. Does the whitening affect the pretty teeth? Yes, it does. Have we figured out how to use this with Lightroom yet? I don't know what exactly you're asking, because I did explain this already, that if you're a Lightroom user or a Capture One user, you export from your raw file that you've worked on the color already. You export a TIFF, and then you open this up. It's a separate application. It's not a plugin for Lightroom. It's not a plugin for Capture One. It's not a plugin for Photoshop. So you would, just like if you were moving from Lightroom to Photoshop, you're not opening your raw file in Photoshop. Because if you try to open a raw file in Photoshop, it opens up Camera Raw, essentially, in front of Photoshop, and then when you're done in that, it asks you to basically convert it to like a PSD or a TIFF. So you don't use this with Lightroom, you use it after Lightroom. You just got here. What did I miss? John, you missed a lot, dude. You're gonna have to you should just watch the whole video tomorrow. Right, it's a proper tool with a decent range and still allows you to go in and make more advanced edits without obliterating the whole image. Yes, absolutely. Which is like the best part of it, is you have control. Now, your taste is the limitation. So if you start doing crazy shit on here, then that's on you. But it's not so like heavy-handed, and it gives you that fine-tuned control. Boo, needs to be a plugin. Okay, why? I hate plugins. They suck. I've never had a plugin that works great. And if your plugin crashes while you're in Photoshop, your Photoshop crashes. So, and there's too much stuff in here to like be like, oh, well, give us a control panel in Photoshop for this. By the way, keep in mind, some people might, if like you haven't learned Capture One or Lightroom, you could just do you can import raw files into this and do all of your color correction here and make this your only application. So that is possible. I'm just telling you from my perspective, and probably for the way a lot of people will want to use it, is you already know Lightroom, or you already know Capture One, you already have your color presets, you already know those specific controls. You might want to just stick with it and export out a TIFF, pop it into this, do everything here. And by the way, how often are you doing one photo at a time? I'm saying like a whole shoot. So let's say I have 10 photos from a shoot. I work on those 10 in Capture One, export the 10, pop them open into this, do my settings, do some syncing. That's export out the TIFF that's got now my EVOTO settings caked in, and then open in Photoshop. Okay, yes, Retouch for me works as an annoying plugin that is slow, and yeah. And it still opens in its own window. It's like, what is that part? I don't really understand exactly why that matters. It functions the same way. I guess what you're saying you like is that I get to live in Photoshop, open it up, and it comes back and it's in Photoshop. I get that part, but I think there's downsides with it as well. It works different. I'd rather get charged 6 cents to export and mask in my edits than $125 per plugin. 100%. We are supposed to get how many credits from using your link? 30 on top of the 5, and plus you can sign up with your email through the website to get an additional 20 added to your account. So you could ultimately get 55 for free. By the way, this is another reason that you can't have, if it's a plugin, you can't have like your image sets and sort of projects set up in here. So there are some advantages to this being its own app. Okay, click Joey's link to get it. Then Sean, just start a new account, click my link, and just create a new account. And just use a different email. Here's the link again in the chat. Boom. Joey, what is the link to rewatch tonight's Twitch? Asking for a friend. I don't have a link yet because we're still in Twitch. So I have to take the saved file of this recording, upload it to YouTube after the stream, and then I will put it on my channel. So it will be on my channel, and I'm going to put it in my Instagram story tomorrow. I'll put a link to the YouTube video. Mandy, thanks for your help in the chat. For anybody that just joined, Mandy, who works for EVOTO, is in Singapore watching the stream, helping out with the credits if anybody's having issues. So Mandy's the one that reached out to me and asked me, you know, if I would test out the software and give it a shot, and she gave me some credits to play with, and I was like, holy crap! And I reached back out to her and asked if she would hop on a Zoom and I could give some suggestions based on using it, and we had that call today. It was great. She's very sweet and was really open to all the suggestions that I threw at her. So, and I had a whole list of little detailed things. Jesse, what is your so Jesse is another photographer that shoots a lot of bulk for his magazine, Live Fast Mag. Jesse, we've talked a lot about this kind of stuff, and I know you were using the Retouch for me. I'm curious your thoughts on watching this. I appreciate that, Manny. Thank you. And by the way, thank you. I know some outside of some of the little things we've got hung up on throughout this conversation, I do really appreciate all of the feedback, and this is like the best chat we've had going in a while, like best participation on the stream in quite a while. So anything for hair highlights? I don't see anything in there currently. One of the things I had made a suggestion was to add a slider to sort of volumize the hair. I mean, that's something I'm gonna hit on every photo. By the way, while we are talking about these photos, I'm going to go back and I'm gonna open up this photo. I'm gonna go ahead and export this. So basically, let's say I'm done, you know, in EVOTO. I've used everything I want here. Okay, so here's the before and after. We did a little makeup, right? Didn't do a ton of stuff, but you can see we did the skin tone. I'm gonna go ahead and hit export. We're gonna do one image. This one, I'm gonna send it to my desktop. Yeah, let's send it there. And let's go to custom settings, make sure no new subfolder, keep original file names, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Perfect. Now, I just want to make sure of something. All right, so now, let's see, it should... Where's my file? Let me see that one more time. Did I... User Joey desktop? The heck? Okay. Alright. Export image. Boom. Here, let's create a new subfolder. It might be going to my other monitor. Well, there it is. Okay, well, there it is now. All right, so I'm gonna open this with Photoshop Beta. Don't save that. All right, and now I was gonna show you some of the stuff that I was playing with generative fill. By the way, like, isn't it nice to come into Photoshop and I already don't have to like clean up any skin? Like, I might come up here and just hit a couple little things. And Manny did say they are working on the eye blood vessels feature. Okay, all right, so here's what I was going to do is let's just grab my lasso tool and I'm gonna say generative fill hair. I'm just gonna type that in and hit generate and let's see what it does. MP, that was a, oh man. That was an accidental text. I accidentally wrote to Chris and MP mad with a question mark, or you know, I just put mad. Remember when I said my phone's messaging somebody? And it wrote mad. Okay. Okay, so here's Jesse real quick in the chat, says, you definitely have a lot more options to play with than one blanket move from Retouch for me. While it worked and I enjoyed it and saved me a huge amount of money from using the Russian, is the retoucher. Now this will play, we'll play with this because it is nice to have all of these new options that are way more precise and all in one place rather than using 3 different plugins with 3 different batches, having to edit each batch before moving on to the next one. So definitely excited to play with this with all my new mag shoots I've done recently. In the end, these AI programs will pay for themselves with the time saved. It's a no-brainer, 1000%. Dude, give me 6 cents and you give me 15 minutes of my life back, 20 minutes of my life back, whatever it is. Take all my money. Like, so that's why if I get a little frustrated, like, I understand there's some nitpicking about like, oh, is there the watermark or the like, okay, go look at something without a watermark and spend your time, your valuable time, because you were worried about a watermark or something. Anyways, that's why those things are driving me crazy, because like I'm looking at like the big picture is the time saved. The value in that is massive. Give me my life back. I don't want to sit in front of the computer. Okay, so look at, I used generative fill to hit hair and it gave me these great options to see before. I think the first one is the win. So I'm gonna go ahead and flatten that, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and just go to this little spot and say generative fill, hair, boom. I think with Instagram, you will save so much time versus dodge and burn. Just got in, hoping to see a EVOTO demo. What's the workflow? C1 EVOTO PS? Yes, correct. Zach, I'm gonna put this whole video on my YouTube channel. Like, it'll be free. It won't be behind my Patreon. Oh, that's the one. Flatten, move on. By the way, here, just add before layer. Look at before, after in like 2 seconds with Photoshop, generative fill, amazing. Okay, let's try something here. Let's just, so I'm gonna hit sand and see what it does. I was chatting with my buddy Ray K, amazing video director, like awesome photographer, and he's been showing me some of the stuff he was doing with his backgrounds, and it is like wild. And he said with the sand, like, you got to play with it. You might have to do several times. But let's go back in here and hit generative fill and say white sand. Let's see what it, just want to play a little bit with this. I'm gonna actually in a second pull up the WhatsApp. Oof, okay, hold on. Whoa, okay, weird. What the hell is that? A bathtub? This is not the best photo to do it on, but let me pull up something. He said if I wanted to, I could show you the examples he sent me in our WhatsApp chat. I'm just gonna pull this up real quick because I thought it was super impressive. And he was like, feel free to share it on the stream. Let me pull this up. Give me 1 second. It's loading all my messages. I'm not going to screen share at the moment. Okay. Yeah, Zach, you missed like all the meat and potatoes, man. We covered everything. But like I said, I'll put the link to this video on YouTube tomorrow in my Instagram story. And what happened to my music? Oh, and we got the weird music problem again. Oh, no, it's coming back. Okay, here it is. All right. Okay. Watch this. I'm gonna pull up the screen in 1 second. Okay, this is with generative fill. Basically, you're gonna see this is the after, but watch the before will pop up. So let's play that again. Boom. Let's pause it for a second. People all over the background. His sand is like perfect sand now. So he's basically saving. Did he also get rid of? Okay. In this one, he said there was like resort here, there was people. So he actually used generative fill. He'll sort of select like where the trees transition to the sand and then basically turn it into a nicer beach. So look at, he wrote, for this photo, the sandy beach and palm trees were really much further away from us. So I simply copy and pasted it closer to her and used generative fill in the transition areas to make it look natural. Also played with the clouds and generative fill. Okay, I'm actually curious. Zach, I've been playing with it all week. So he's talking about EVOTO. Wanted to see what you had come up with it. No problem, I can work for you. So I just want to know, what are your thoughts from playing with the software for a week? Curious. And then actually, I would love to come back on the stream next week and get suggestions from you guys after you've had a week to play with the software and use it, play with. By the way, remember, you don't get charged a credit. The 55 credits should actually last you a month or so if you're shooting kind of a lot. I mean, I don't know how many photos you're churning out and how many or how long it will take you to get through 55 like full edits. But remember, you can play with the software without exporting and never use a credit. So I would love to hear feedback next week and get some suggestions. I'm of course going to play around more throughout the week. I'm going to do more stuff with generative fill. I did want to do one more thing here. Let's hop back into this real quick. So I'm going to just grab her hair. Also, have any of you had an issue where you're working on, let's say, like a model and maybe she is in a bikini because it's sort of like a lot of skin, and Photoshop says cannot use generative fill, this violates our whatever user agreement or something like that. It gives you this little warning. I'm going to put hair bangs. Let's see what it does. So I have had that issue happen. So what I'll just do is duplicate the image, crop out like the body. So let's say I'm doing something like this to the hair. Oh man, that was actually much better than the one that, that was better than the one that I used. Oh, I love it. This is great. And then of course you can just take a brush and just get rid of the stuff you don't need from that. So look, in a few seconds with generative fill, I basically did this. Like, this is how I'm going to be using it a lot. What do I do with this one. Fill, generative fill. What does it do if I just hit? Oh, I'm like working on no layer. Damn it! Hold on. That's why it was like, where's my fill? Oh, content aware. There. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Of course, if we want to get really crazy with generative fill, we could say. Nun dress. Damn, I might actually swap the hair. She's getting she's getting baptized. I might swap the hair that I got on this one for the one I ended up using in my final. Shit, this looks better. Ah, whatever. Okay. The community guideline. Yeah, so like let's say the community guideline gets you. This is what I would do is I would well, you could do where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Duplicate. Yeah. So duplicate image, make a copy, and then just do this. Crop out like the stuff that would be considered sexy, delete cropped pixels. Now do your generative fill stuff here. And then when you're done with it, take this layer and just put it back up over this one. Oh fuck, hold on. My snap. Yes, snap. There we go. Boom. That's what I would do to, and then flatten it, and then you'll get around some of your issues. Like actually, let's try this real quick. Generative expand. Let's just see what it does. This actually might dock me. Oh, nope. Damn, it's good. Oh my god. Let's go this way with it. Wow. Dude, this is crazy. What a time. Let's just keep going with it. Wow. Let's go up. Okay, let's see. So Zach says it's really pretty amazing. He's talking about EVOTO. The things that it does reminds me of the Retouch for me, but all together and way more cost effective. I still like the background cleaner and Retouch for me. Yeah, the background cleanup tool is actually pretty good. Ooh, okay, hold on. Let's see what else. Oh, better. Better. Let's just keep going. Not even bikini, practically so many instances of skin. I got that warning just extending the gold background on a headshot. It was literally a piece of material, so I don't know. Like this is actually kind of insane. Let's just be honest here. This is like creating this whole world. Oh my god. Like how great is this for making like background banners for your website? And you're like, "Oh, I need a damn it, I have this shot, but I need a nice like horizontal version of it." Wide angle lens sales just dropped. Oh my god. We must go deep. We need to know what is happening in the matrix. Jeez. I want to spend an entire day just doing this over and over and over until I'm kind of like, by the way, do you know what the original photo was? It was this little 1% of this giant monstrosity I created. Can you put in destinations? Angkor was yeah. Do you have any prompts to add to make the place more exotic? Angkor what? What is that? Bill, what are you trying to say? Oh my god, this is beautiful. I'm gonna message this to her, be like, hey, do you remember when we shot here? She's like, what? Okay, actually, I really gotta know what's over here. Cambodia temples. It's the Forbidden City. I'd watch that stream. Charge 6 cents for user submitted generative prompts on the stream. Yeah, this is like literally mind blowing, man. I'll be honest. Of all the things that I thought were coming in the future, I just didn't see the day that we could just magically expand photos and tell it to add things. Like let's do this. Let's say um palm trees. Angkor Wat is the Cambodian temple. Okay. All right, here we go. In favelas. You learn so much from Discord chats if you're signed up for Midjourney. Yes, Discord is like the little secret nerd side of the web. I love it. I don't use it enough. Okay, not bad. Let's see what the other ones were. This one kill my Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one. Okay, I'm gonna put the thing that you said though. What is it called? The Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat. All right, generate. Let's do it. And what happened to my music? My royalty-free hip-hop lo-fi. We're about to find out how educated it is. See if my audio is. That's weird. This is that time where the The stream starts breaking down. What the heck is... Oh my god. New fear unlocked. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck was that? Hold on a second. Can we just try to figure out what species this is? Okay, this is great because this is gonna be the last thing you're gonna see before you go to sleep, and you're gonna all have the weirdest nightmares. Hold on. What is this? I'm trying to figure out what it thinks Angkor Wat is. Twat? Is it a twat? What is it? Like, I like that. Okay, let's flatten all that. All right. Anything else? Let's do crocodile. Let's add something, you know, coming in for the kill. I would also like to get rid of the weird, the hotel or house situation that's on the right. Oh man, my music's gone for the night. Add the tree of life. Good call. By the way, I think what the big ass gator. Okay. No, that's gotta go. All right, let's do this real quick. Let's put the tree of life over here. Tree of life. Let's get rid of that thing. It's like a temple and a crotch dance. Oh man. I think what we were seeing, gentlemen, the AI learned it was Joey After Dark is filling in for appropriately. Oh my god, it is. Oh, I like that. I mean, it's better. Hold on. Wait. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I feel like that's the one. All right. Oh my god, this is crazy. I can't believe this turned into, like, wouldn't that be cool to do a photo that you just zoom in, you're like, here's the original, and then you just start zooming out into just a crazy, just massive. I love that generative expand is just now in the crop option the way it should be. It was weird before, you had to like crop and then select the new area and then hit generative fill, and now it's just like generative expand. This is great. They make those like photo in a photo. Yeah, I wonder like what's the craziest someone's gone with this, like in just building out like a fake photo. Yeah, wide angles are toast. Don't need you anymore. I think that's the one. Oh, this is wild. It's so good. Like, how good is the water? It's like, it's scary. Okay, the Terminators are coming, everybody. It's official. Listen, I think on this note, I'm going to call it a night. It is 10:57, so almost 11 o'clock. I am happy we got to fully cover EVOTO. I'm going to be obviously playing with it a lot more. I would love to hear what you all do with it, and how it impacts your workflow. And let's try to get as many of you back on next week as possible and see if we can come up with any good suggestions that we can pass off to Mandy. And if she can't hop on here, I'll make sure they go through me to her. So anyways, but I think the cool part is it's like I've never talked to somebody from Adobe. Like I don't, I've never got, you know, to have direct input, even though there's so many things I would like to say. So I think this is a very cool opportunity. So Mandy, thank you again for taking the time to chat today and then be here on the stream. And I know you're like literally on the other side of the world, so much appreciated. Thank you everybody for showing up on this stream tonight. Yes, thank Mandy, please. Show her a little love and appreciation in the chat. And yeah, I'll drop this on YouTube, and then I'll put out a link tomorrow. So if you came on late, don't worry. This won't be on the Patreon. This will just be public on my YouTube, and you'll be able to see the whole thing and go through it. So anyways, yes, everybody, thank you so much. Everybody, don't forget, we're going to send Nio, we're going to set up a GoFundMe, and we're going to get him about $4 so he can have all of the AI credits or all the EVOTO credits that he could possibly ask for. Yep, that's it. So thanks again, everybody. And appreciate all the feedback. And we'll see you next week. Peace out. Until next time. Later.